Hello and welcome to the daily newscast within the United Countries special by First Ukraine. You can find us at the frequencies available at our website firstua.com. I'm Sergey Velichanskiy and thank you for joining us. The results speak for themselves. This is the way how the President of Ukraine, Petro Poroshenko, reacted on his Facebook page to the fact how Russia had vetoed the creation of the tribunal. He also continues, Ukraine will persist on punishment of those guilty in the MH17 tragedy. To find out how the situation will develop in the near future, we talked to Alexei Melnik, a military expert of the Razumkov Center of Research. He says that in order to deprive any country of rights to veto Security Council's decision, it takes the change of the UN statutes. Such a decision could be approved by the General Assembly. Until it happens, the relatives of the deceased could demand compensations from Russia through court decisions. The expert states that this can apply the possible arrest of property of Russian state companies abroad.
The most important thing is that Russia foremost need to remember that such crimes have no period of limitation, and it is known from criminology and human psychology the expectation of punishment is more terrifying than the punishment itself, so Russian leaders would be in endless nightmare.
Many people have observed the UN Security Council session in hopes that the justice will overcome, but in vain. The following story shows how it all went.
11 out of 15 votes are for and 1 is against. Russia, as promised, blocked a resolution on the establishment of an international tribunal to investigate who brought down Boeing near Donetsk. 3 countries, China, Angola and Venezuela, abstained from voting. Russian representative to the UN Security Council, Vitaly said that it is necessary to wait for results of the investigation. But in the tragedy in Donbass, he accused Ukraine. According to him, civilian aircraft should not be sent forth through the zone where the battles were. Let's hope that the investigation will find it out. And impunity would be for those who shot down the plane and who had directed it to the war zone. Our duty to those who died and their families is to bring to justice the perpetrators of this barbaric act. We feel the pain of the victims more than anyone else, so we want to know the truth more than anyone else. We want that the guilty would be brought before an international court. No one will have no reason to resist this, except those who committed this crime. Despite Russian veto, Malaysia, Netherlands and Australia promised to do everything they can to bring to justice the perpetrators of this air disaster.
In a world with an increasing number of violent terrorist groups and other non-state actors, many with sophisticated military capabilities, it is inconceivable that the Security Council would now walk away from holding to account those who brought down a commercial aeroplane.
UN Security Council session was initiated by Ukraine, Australia, Netherlands, Malaysia and Belgium. Countries aim to establish an international criminal tribunal in the case of the brought-down Boeing near Donetsk area. A year ago, the airliner crashed on the occupied by pro-Russian separatist territory. 298 people died, all who were on board. Among them were mostly the citizens of the Netherlands, Malaysia and Australia. Ukraine and the West suspect that the craft was shot down by terrorists or Russian military. In reply, Moscow accuses Kyiv. The results of the investigation, Netherlands promised to publish in early October. Moreover, investigative actions will continue until August next year. Lesia Krasun, Olga Tkachenko, First Ukraine.
Nadia Savchenko's case in the preliminary hearing started today in a Russian town Donetsk near Rostov city. They're held behind closed doors. Mark Fagin, the Nadia's defender, wrote on his Twitter account that the building is surrounded by police and the people are not allowed inside. Nadia has been brought to this court session from Novocherkassk, which is quite far from here, about 150 kilometers. Ilya Novikov, Nadia's advocate, says that they prepared a number of petitions.
This morning, I submitted a request to return the case to Moscow to Rostov Regional Court, which is empowered to consider these affairs. And on that ground, today I will ask to postpone the hearing, although I have a doubt that they will meet our needs. This is a major issue today, whether we get at the end of the day the commencement date of the main hearing or whether it will be another postponement.
We will be able to share more details about the court hearings in the future newscasts, and Ilya Novikov promised to keep us posted on new developments. As a reminder, Nadia Savchenko is accused of murder of Russian journalists in Donbass and in the illegal border crossing. And prior to this, the Ukrainian Prosecutor General's office reported that there is an information from mobile operators which shows that at the moment of Russian journalist's death, the mobile devices of the pilot had already been fixated on the combatant's territory. This means that Savchenko had already been detained, and Nadia's claims that she was transported to Russia by terrorists with the use of force. As a result of last night's shelling in Dzerzhinsk, there are 2 fatalities among civilians and 1 woman is wounded. As the Donetsk regional militia reports, it took place at night when the combatants hit a private building. A gas pipe has been damaged as well, and 2 mines are left without power, and 200 of miners have been evacuated. As the ATO headquarters states that it was the tank assault from the Gorlivka direction.
Yesterday at 10:30 p.m., terrorists were firing upon our positions from the tank in Trohizbenka area in the Luhansk region. Moreover, they shelled 3 times with 120mm mortars upon Krasnohorivka and Mayorsk. Occupants continued to use artillery. Yesterday at 10:15 p.m., militants shot with 152mm artillery upon Yasnobrodivka in the Donetsk region. And at 10:35 p.m., combatants again fired upon the position of Ukrainian soldiers in the Leninsky area using artillery systems of 152 and 122mm caliber.
If we take a look at the Mariupol direction, we note that ATO positions near Starognativka settlement were under a tank assault and artillery fire last night as well.
After midnight, the Russian mercenaries already had shelled 7 Ukrainian positions that are deployed in the areas of the settlement Starognativka. The fire was from the settlement Novolaspa. During the shelling, enemy applied the artillery prohibited to use. 4 times were used 122mm self-propelled guns and 3 times 120mm mortars. There are no victims on the Ukrainian side.
No casualties and 4 wounded among the Ukrainian army in Donbass for the period of past 24 hours. This is the information from Andriy Lysenko, the spokesperson of the President's administration of Ukraine. The terrorists want to free 2,000 inmates from prisons in the occupied territories. It was reported to the First Ukraine by Georgy Tuka, the head of Lugansk Military Civil Administration. According to him, the militants want to release prisoners because they can't feed them. Thus, terrorists neglect agreements on the transfer of prisoners along with their criminal cases to Ukrainian law enforcement agencies, Tuka said. The prisoners have already started to be released. Those without documents trying to enter the territory controlled by the Ukrainian authorities are being detained by border guards.
On the one hand, probably it would be wrong to leave them in freedom because they do not fully serve their sentences. On the other hand, in order to extend the punishment or take other decisions, they should have the background in the form of criminal cases, which no one has. This issue was very complicated in terms of legislation, as no one could have foreseen this. I had a conversation with the President yesterday on this issue. I hope that representatives of senior management, ministries, departments and services will as soon as possible brainstorm and make some decision.
In TransCarpathia, border guards detained cigarette smugglers again. As the regional administration reports, there are 6 residents of the village Salivka. The goods were confiscated from them and they were escorted to an enlistment military center, just like the smugglers who were detained yesterday. Offenders who have the enlistment age are being sent to army according to the order of the head of region, Gennady Moskal. A mass conflict took place in Rivne area because of the illegal mining of amber. As was reported by the regional police department, 2 policemen suffered. 2 law enforcement officers approached hospital with bruises. One of them has a broken leg. Near the village Krupove of Dubrovitsky district, the police confiscated equipment from illegal mining. The diggers attacked police with sticks. SWAT arrived on the scene, but the assistance came to attackers as well. Around 100 local residents surrounded police. One of them was driving the SUV and tried to run over a policeman. Meanwhile, nearly 300 people blocked the enlistment military center and blocked the road near the district administration in the district center Dubrovitsa. To disperse them, the police used rubber bullets. 10 rebels were detained. Then the crowd moved to the police department. The people detained demanded the release of detainees. Instead, police has arrested 2 more rebels.
To release the detainees, the head of district administration, Sergey Velichanskiy, came with a meeting organizer who was involved in the beating of police officers in the village Krupova, and the injured policeman recognized him as their offender. Currently, the pretrial investigations are ongoing. All details of the circumstances and all participants of the event are being established.
It was the United Country Newscast by First Ukraine. You can find more details at our website, firstua.com. Sergey Velichanskiy was working for you in the studio. We wish you only good news. Take care and goodbye.